Hello, welcome to the Vintage Dreamer Makes. My name is Rebecca and thank you for watching. This is episode number 11. I'm excited to share with you the things I've been working on. I don't really have a ton of stuff, but I do have some. But first, let's start with what I'm wearing. As you can tell, I am donning my St. Patrick's Day attire. It is not St. Patrick's Day yet, but it is coming up on Sunday. So I'll probably take these off eventually because they're covering up my cute little banner. And I probably look really goofy, but I don't mind being goofy. Being goofy's fun, right? So what I'm wearing, I wrote it down because I'm not gonna remember. What I'm wearing is the Counter-Tied Shawl by Nim Teasdale. I've talked about it in the past, and I'm not really gonna go into detail because you can watch it on previous episodes, but I don't recommend this pattern. There was a mistake in it. There was some issues. So if you like it, it's worth, going through it and figuring it out, but there was a lot of aggravation in it, so I would never make the pattern again, which is disappointing because I really like the blocks of color and then the solid, it's a stockinette stitch. I like the solid stockinette stitch, and then I like the lace. It's fun to use like 2 yarns for that. But what I do love about this shawl is the yarn, the colorway. It is by Swoon Fibers, and I asked Andrea to dye up a green that matches her colorway, the multicolored colorway, which is Wee Bit O' Luck by Swoon Fibers. And I believe you can get this right now, at least the multicolored one. She doesn't have the solid anymore, but you could use any solid green. So that is what I'm wearing. Okay, I'm gonna take this off now that I've had my little introduction. And I will see you when I talk about my whips. Okay, so my first whip is a St. Patrick's Day whip. I believe I've talked about this before, and I've just started knitting it up again. It has been hibernating since the last St. Patrick's Day. And I have it in this really cute bag by Swoon Fibers. Actually, this has Aggie's bags. Aggie made this bag. And it has the cutest little, like, leprechaun dust, sparkles powder on it as the tag, as the zipper. It's one of my favorite bags. And inside is the Spindrift. I believe I wrote it down. Let's see, yes. I call it my Spindrift Irish shawl, and it's the Spindrift shawl by Helen Stewart. The yarn is Yarn Love, and it's in the colorway Lucky, and then the base that I bought was Jane Austen. And I used a 3.75 millimeter needle for this. It's turning out really pretty. So here's what the skein looks like. Here's what the skein looks like. It's a sparkly base, and it's a very muted St. Patrick's Day color. It is so beautiful. Okay, do I have my little plugs on there? Yes, I do. Okay. So I can't really spread it out fully, but this is kind of what it's looking like. It's just stockinette stitch. It's going to be, I believe it's like a half moon shawl, so it's going to curve around. And then it's gonna have this really pretty, I'll just show you upside down. It has this really pretty lace detail. It's knitting up so beautifully. And I have some charms on it. I still have some charms in the shop, in my shop right now, at least as of this filming. I might have a green sparkly toadstool, I'm not sure. But here's a toadstool I carved in a St. Patrick's Day. So I kept this one because it was a mistake. So usually the gills are mushroom colored, but the way I painted it, it like seeped into the wood and popped out where it's supposed to be a lighter color. So I just covered it up in green, and I was like, I can't sell it. It's not how I want it to look. So I kept it for myself. And then I have from Lock and Lou, it's really hard to tell, but it's a little pot of gold. And then Sam's Tiny Trinkets. Go. I have a little clover. 1, 2, 3, 4 leaf clover. But it's turning out really beautiful. I really love the muted colors in this. It's so soft and you can't tell through the camera, but it's very sparkly and shimmery. That's my St. Patrick's Day shawl. Let's go on to the next one. I'm gonna put everything back because in the past what I've done is just thrown it all on the ground and then it's a pain to clean up. I'm going to be orderly this time around. I don't know if I talked about this shawl pin. I got this at Stitches West, which is no longer around. And I don't remember where I got it, like the name of the place, but isn't that the cutest little owl? It's one of my favorites. The next whip was a knit-along, and it was hosted by Kim of Ewethful Fibers. They did the Calliope sweater, and I almost finished by the deadline. I got everything done but the sleeves. This was a really fun pattern, and it is being held in my bag by stitching the high notes. I love the little sheep. This is so cute. Okay, here's my Calliope. Now, I don't know if the lighting will do it justice. I tried taking pictures and it just didn't look as beautiful as it really is in real life. Okay, that's a little better. It shows in pictures to be gray, but it's this really beautiful, soft lavender color. And I'm really loving the neckline. I wasn't sure if I would like it, but it fits very well. It's flattering. I like the long ribbing because it matches this. I think what I'm gonna do for the sleeves is do 3/4 sleeves, and then the ribbing is gonna be pretty long. You're supposed to go down, and I don't believe there's any decreases, so the pattern sleeves are a little wide. I'm gonna decrease it. I want it to hug like right here on my forearm. So that's the plan. But it is so beautiful. And then it has this really pretty charm on it. I don't know who made it, and she doesn't make charms anymore. It's so sad because she had such beautiful ones. And then I have this cute little nighttime gnome by Simply Serving. It's one of my favorite, and it's so tiny. So yeah, this is my Calliope shawl, and I will give you the information on it. So I made the size 2, and the yarn is by Swoon Fibers, and I used 3 skeins of yarn, 3 skeins of mohair, and 3 skeins of fingering. And the colorway, the kid mohair lace, silk lace is in the colorway lace lavender, and then the fingering weight is in their Peyton Sock, and the colorway is Field Blooms. And what I really loved about this designer is, I got it through Etsy, I'll link below, but she showed what the 2 colors look like together. I have a hard time kind of figuring out, oh, what's the mohair gonna look like with the fingering? Or I buy the fingering yarn and I'm like, I don't wanna cover it up with mohair. It's gonna change the look of the skein. So I really struggle with that. But she has a swatch that shows what they both look like together, and I just fell in love with it. It is so soft, pleasure to work with, really good yarn dyer. The needles I used 3.75 and 4mm. I don't remember what the pattern uses. Usually I'll go down a size because I knit very loosely. So that is my Calliope shawl. My next whip is my Liese gloves, and I carry that in my Woolen Women fiber bag, Aggie's bag. Aggie made this bag. It's another one of my favorites. I love how Aggie makes bags. And I got this Jamieson Shetland Spindrift when I was in Oregon, passing through Oregon, and the color is Moor Grass, M-O-O-R, grass, Moor Grass. So pretty. And if you watched my January diary, I showed my trip up to Washington State where it was a blizzard and snowing and crazy, and my hands were freezing, so I decided to make gloves. And this is all that I have because it started turning warm and I lost my excitement for it. But it's a really good bring with you. It's like sock knitting. It's a really good pattern to bring places when you just want to do some mindless knitting. But it's knitting up really beautiful. Very fitting for St. Patrick's Day, I should say. And I'm using a 2mm needle, double pointed needles. 2mm. I believe I've made this pattern before, but this is the first time I'm using fingering. I think I used DK weight. Oops, stitches almost came off. So those are my gloves. Okay, so my next whip is really exciting. It's a mystery knit-along shawl. I've never done a mystery knit-along for anything but a gnome, and it's been a lot of fun. The theme is the Muppets. I love the Muppets. I grew up with the Muppets. The Muppets are my favorite, or one of my favorites. My daughter's up. Come in.
Good morning.
Good morning. And for the occasion, I made my own bag. If you've watched for any length of time, you know I hate sewing bags. But this is the bag. It turned out really good. Get the Muppets on there. And this reminded me of Kermit. Kermit's neckline. There are some mistakes on it. I want to put the tied channel down a little lower so this kind of frills out more to look more like Kermit's neckline. And there's a couple of technical issues I need to fix, but it turned out pretty good considering I hate making bags and I'm not very good at it. It does not come naturally to me. So it's just a box bottom bag. I'll put down in the description where I got the tutorial. I did change the sizes, which I will talk about in my March diaries. So check that out if you're interested. And let's see. So I will put a quick little video, just a little image right here of the colors that I used. And it's just this solid gray with multicolors. And the dyer named it after the new, I think it's a Disney show, Muppet Mayhem. I started watching it. I kind of found it boring, but the colorway is not boring. It's beautiful and I love it. And I will get the information here so you know. Let's see. Oh yeah, the Muppet Shawl. The knit-along is by Mary Annarella, and it's a mystery knit-along. And the yarn kit I got from Sunshine Yarns. And in order to get gauge, I had to go down many needle sizes. I'm a loose knitter, so I always have to go down a needle size. So maybe she's an extra loose knitter or a tight knitter. I don't know. But I went down to a 3mm to get gauge. Now, the gauge for the shawl really isn't a big deal, but when you buy a kit, you only have so much yarn, and she warned that you need to get as close to gauge as possible so you don't run out of yarn if you ordered a kit. So that's what I did, and I never swatch. It just so happens I had a project that I knit in those exact needles, exact like stockinette stitch, and I measured it and I was able to use that and be like, oh, that's perfect, it matches gauge. So I didn't have to make a separate swatch. Yay, I hate making swatches. Even for sweaters, I don't make swatches unless it's like a fitted sweater. Yeah. Okay, so I have gotten through Clue 1 and most of Clue 2. And Clue 3 just came out today, so I am really behind. And it's looking like it's just going to be a wrap. It's not going to be a triangular shawl like I thought it would be. But it's turning out so beautiful. Isn't that so pretty? I have the cutest little bubblegum machine stitch marker from Lock and Lou. And then I have this cute little lemonade by Simply Serving. Now what's really fun, the pattern is really fun. I recommend doing it. She's very funny in her patterns and she does a lot of linking to different videos, and each stitch has a name in honor of the Muppets. So I wrote down all those names because there's no way I'm gonna remember it, but it's been a lot of fun. And each stitch she talks about why it's named that. It's a lot of fun. So this aqua here is Spotlight, and then this here is Beaker, And that is because if you look closely, can you see like Beaker's head and his hair coming out, his wild hair? So that's Beaker's stitch. And the next one is the Yip Yip Stitch. That's the green. I wish the green popped out a little more. And it's supposed to mimic the Yip Yip Martians from Sesame Street, which I did not know. I did not know about them, and I showed my daughter them and she is in love. So I have a project started for her, a secret crochet project. I'm going to crochet her some Yip Yip, the Yip Yip Martian family from Sesame Street. If you don't know what that is, go check it out. It's really funny. And then the next stitch is a Wodka Wodka stitch after Fozzie Bear. And it's because these look like Fozzie Bear's ears. Wodka Wodka. And then the next one is Piggy Pearls. And it's supposed to mimic Piggy's pearls that she wears. And then the next one is Mah-nah-mah-nah. And it's supposed to mimic like the roundness of the Muppets. It's supposed to look like a whole crowd, a bunch of Muppets together. The next one is Animals Magnetism. That's this one here. And this is supposed to look like his drumsticks. And then the next one is Doctor's Teeth Stitch. And it's supposed to look like teeth. So I believe he has like that big gold tooth. And I'm in the process of this. I have about one more row and then it's on to the next glue. So I'm pretty happy with it. It's really pretty. It's really fun. I like it because it's not colors I would normally pick to put together. It's something that I normally wouldn't pick out for myself, but it's still a lot of fun. So this is going to be really fun to wear and I cannot wait to see the rest of the stitches. I have used every single color so far. So I believe what will probably happen, it'll just repeat and start from the beginning and use the same color order and color movement. So that is my Muppets Mystery Knitalong shawl. Okay, that is all for my whips. Let's move on to my finished objects. I only have 2 finished objects for you all, and I know it's not a lot. Right now, I don't know why, but I have a ton of whips and I really need to get going and finish some. So for my next video, I'll have a lot of finished objects. Here's hoping. So my first finished object is my Grinchy Advent shawl, and I made this at Christmas time. I did not finish it at Christmas time. A little bit after, I think a week after Christmas time. I watch Green Lambkin and I have bought some of her yarn recently, and she does a lot of crochet and she wore a crochet shawl and it just started getting me to want to make crochet items. I started crocheting before I started knitting, and that was my first love, and I did a ton of Amy Gurumi. That was my favorite. My least favorite was granny squares. I love how they look, but I would make like, I have a blanket started that I never finished like 10 years ago. I got to like 10, 15 granny squares and gave up because I hate doing them. It's way too repetitive. So I've made some blankets that are just granny square where it's like one big giant granny square, and that's kind of what this is. I used my Woolen Women Fibers Christmas Advent for this. And for the main body, I used the full skein that I got at the very end. And then for the edging, I picked my favorite Grinchy minis that came with it out of the collection and used that. And that's what I chose. I'm really loving it. It was a really fun pattern to make. I want to make something else in different colors. And this is the Nectar Shawl by Premier Yarn Design Team. And the yarn, as I said, is by Woolen Women Fibers Advent. And the hook size I used was H8 5mm. So really big. It's so cozy. I can't wait to wear it at Christmas time. I still, as you see, have to weave in the end. So I guess technically it's not a finished object, but I thought it was finished enough. So I'm really happy with this. And then last but not least, it's another crocheted item that I finished. And this is the half granny crochet shawl. I purchased the pattern in Ashland, Oregon at the Webster's Yarn Shop. And I bought the pattern in the shop. And it's a good thing I did because I came home and I could not find the pattern online. So I'm sorry, I can't share that with you. But if you maybe contacted their website, you could say, I would like the pattern for the half granny crochet shawl, and see if they have it. They say it's by them, so there's really no designer name. But if you search for something similar, there's a lot of other patterns very similar that you could do. And the hook size I used was 6.5 millimeter, size K. And I bought some of this yarn in Ashland, which I used, and then my mother-in-law gave me a skein of this yarn in a different colorway. And the yarn is by Barocco Wizard. And this is what I made with the yarn from Ashland. It's very soft, it's beautiful. This is the colorway that they used in the shop. I believe in the January diary I show a picture of me a video of me going into the shop, and I believe I have a video of the shawl example that I saw. And the colors turned out nothing like the picture. I believe it was the right colorway, but because it's striped and each ball of yarn I think is different, so yeah. But it's just a really pretty kerchief kind of shawl. So it does wrap around my neck, and then I'll probably use like a shawl pin to keep it on. But I have a lot of bulk under here. But I thought it turned out really pretty. And then I realized my mother-in-law gifted me the same type of yarn in a different colorway, and I didn't know what I was going to make with it, and I decided to make another one. I thought this turned out really pretty. It also had orange in it, and I did not like the orange with this color, so I took the orange out when I crocheted it. And it's so pretty. So yeah, there's that. Now this colorway is Real Gar, and then this colorway was Appetite. So that's all of my finished objects. Not a ton this go around. I need to get knitting, don't I? I've done a lot of spinning, done a lot of other projects. If you want to see more of the different things I'm working on, check out my monthly diaries that I do. And let's see, what else could I talk about? I have been spinning a St. Patrick's Day yarn that I'm really, really, really happy about. It's Colors of the Rainbow. And I just finished it last night, and I'm going to do another bobbin. I ran out of the rainbow, but I'm going to do another full bobbin of this green by the Fiber Genie. And I'm going to ply this with this. So at least that's what I think I'm going to do. After I spin it, I'll of course hold it next to each other and see if it goes well. But that's my goal. So I need to do that. Hopefully soon, starting a new lace project from the book Knitted Lace of Estonia. I spun what I hope is enough yarn to make it. Single ply. It's just a natural gray, but it's really pretty. It's one of my first big spins. So we'll see if that turns out. It's all an experiment at this point. I've been working hard at shopping from my stash and not buying new yarn. But I have to at least buy one skein of yarn a month and one fiber a month, apparently. So I've started doing the Moons of the Year Sock Club by Green Lambkin Yarn. And January was the Wolf Moon. And February was the Snow Moon. And this is the Wolf Moon. Isn't it beautiful? And then this is the Snow Moon. I love her yarn, and she does a lot of sparkly yarn, and I love sparkly yarn. So that's my yarn of the month, and my fiber of the month is coming today. So that will be a surprise. I don't know what that's going to look like either. And that is pretty much it for this episode. Thank you for watching. I have a lot of fun sharing what I'm doing with you. And if you like this video, please like and subscribe. Liking my videos helps tell YouTube that people like it, so they start sharing it more and more for their algorithms. So that would be very helpful if you could do that. And I hope you have a great St. Patrick's Day if you celebrate. I don't really celebrate. I mean, like, I don't make a St. Patrick's Day dinner and all that stuff, but as you can see, I love to decorate. Oh, speaking of, here's my gnome from Never Not Gnoming, my trusty gnome. And then here's my little Yosemite Sam leprechaun that I carved. Then I made this banner too. I really like that banner. I'm not a fan of sewing, so that was a feat all in itself. And I have a bigger one in my living room. And then I have this little fella. I don't know this color yarn, I don't know the orange color. I don't know the orange yarn where I got that, but this is Woolen Women Fibers. This is actually what I'm wearing. It's actually what I'm wearing. A wee bit of luck. A wee bit of luck. And then this is the green mini that it comes with. So you too could make a gnome like this if you bought her sock set. Oops. I have him next to a little toadstool that I made. And I'm hoping to make some of these for the shop. So if you make gnomes and you want a little toadstool to stand next to your gnome, I got you covered. I have 3 already done, and I'm hoping to make more. I hope you all have a great rest of the month, and I will see you in my next podcast or my next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye, my friends.